Between the late 60s and mid-70s, Uganda was a top East African regional tourism destination, but was eventually disrupted, damaged by the reputation of the Idi Amin regime. Persistent internal conflict and instability branded the country unsafe for tourists, while neighboring countries, especially Kenya, benefited tremendously as they became the natural alternative destination. However, years on, the country appears to be bouncing back. A new ranking puts Uganda in the 26th place in the world for its tourism potential and top destination for 2012.
If Egypt is making $7 billion from tourism, Uganda should be able to make $12 billion from tourism, because Egypt did not even get one single accolade in as far as these things are concerned. And we've been the only country in Africa to ever get so many accolades in less than 2 years. You know, no other country in Africa has ever gotten that opportunity. And that's what I'm saying, in terms of potential, we are far.
For the opposition, what is needed is a tourism master plan that will focus on infrastructure development, rebranding Uganda's image locally and internationally, as well as developing the human resource, especially in the hospitality industry.
Think about how we can promote infrastructure in the whole country, especially for those to the national parks and the tour sites. Even in Busia, we also have a tour site which we can attract tourists to. We can also think about the human resource, develop the human resource, the marketing plan.
I would like to see Uganda benefit more, or more accurately, Ugandans benefit more. But that means we have to develop the tariffs in a very carefully done way. International visitors, local visitors, what the tariffs would be. We have to develop the services which are given, the attractions in different parts of the country. What we have so far is what has sort of developed on its, by and large, on its own. It's not been part of a very systematic countrywide development plan.
FDC's Shadow Tourism Minister, Kevin Ataka, also says revamping Uganda Airlines is critical, citing Kenya Airways, which is instrumental in influencing tourists to visit Kenya, a point tour operators here also agree to.
You see, when you board a Kenya Airways plane, everything there is Kenya Airways, Kenya Airways. You go to Qatar, they just market their products. You go to Emirates, they market. For us, what do we market? Where do we market? You know, these are the tourists who are on board, who would have loved to come here. We don't do that.
Having a national airline is very, very important. Kenya Airways has played a very key role for Kenya. When there was a problem in the US, the Twin Tower bombing, the Kenyan government gave Kenya Airways $5 million to go east. And when they went east, the business out of the east to Kenya almost quadrupled. And when America stabilized, it just added on the business they already had in as far as tourism is concerned. I agree with you. When you're at the airport and see your national carrier turning, the people that are always at the airport are not always the poorest people. There are people who are traveling, there are people who have money. And when you're sitting there and seeing a national flag turning on an airline, that creates publicity that you cannot quantify in terms of, value.
UPC's Dr. Olaro Tunu argues that the development of the tourism sector is being done in an ad hoc manner and it needs to change.
Prospects of developing this as a major tourist destination, the prospects are huge, but we have to do it very carefully, very systematically, and make sure that what we develop is consistent with the livelihood of local people, is consistent with preserving our environment, and with our overall development scheme, our overall development plan.
As tour operators look to make returns this year and numbers are expected to grow by at least 30%, focus is also being turned on domestic tourists. The challenge now is to get Ugandans to appreciate that the ultimate destination is actually here, home.
You can never sell a nation to non-citizens until you sell it to citizens. It's very unfortunate, but it's true. 33,000 Ugandans went to Kenya last year to go in their national parks. Each of them is estimated to have spent $2,000. Now that is $660 million. If you compared how many Ugandans went to their own national parks, you'd be shocked.
But the huge boost in world rankings of Uganda as a destination also comes at a time when the Uganda Wildlife Authority is rocked by a corruption scandal, creating upheavals and drawing attention away from developing and marketing the tourism potential in the country. The Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, Professor Featurempeg2video, blames underfunding of the sector for the poor marketing. In 2010, Rwanda spent $5 million, Kenya $10 million, Tanzania $8 million, and Uganda invested only $0.35 million to market the sector.
And because of the mindset, most Ugandans, even the budget of the ministry is still very low. So it is understandable because the ministry was created when the budget had been framed. Consequently, we are operating in a budget as a ministry, but the budget is a budget of a department. In numbers, our budget as a percentage of the national budget is 0.13%.
He says the ministry is in the process of reviewing a planning strategy to provide a new master plan for tourism, but he warns that walk-to-work protests and demos by city traders will hurt the tourism sector.
Every time you write, those who would have brought foreign exchange, they don't come. You compound your own situation. Similarly, those walk-to-work hurts tourist industry because walk-to-work caused hotel owners, the occupancy capacity dropped to 30% because most people cancelled their bookings.
The ministry is also muting a partnership with existing airlines to attract a greater number of tourists into the country. Despite all the challenges, the tourism sector remains the country's second highest foreign exchange earner, raking in $16 million in 2011. Report by Venex Watevawa.